We may have just fucking found the cure for autoimmune diseases and shit. Well, I just stumbled across this in my feed, and as I continue to refine this new kind of little cranking out show, talking head video formats that I've been working on. Let me straighten this shit up. I am, experiments and shit, making all kinds of videos. I kind of want to test out, I get a lot of submissions of videos and clips from people, and I wanted to kind of set it up. I built a template so that I could do this and do it in 4K instead of the past two videos were shot in streaming 1080 with a little bit of audio sync problems. So I'm finding that and working on it. In the same time, I thought I'd create another video for you guys. So this popped up in my YouTube algorithm fed feed that, of course, is heavily fueled by keto and minimalism. And Jordan Peterson said some interesting shit during a Joe Rogan interview. The link to Joe Rogan's channel. He does have a lot of interviews and topics that are related to keto, to fasting, and that kind of stuff as well. I have found many interesting, good interviews in the past, so I do recommend Joe Rogan as a good place to go for whoever is in the keto community that you're interested in. There's been some interesting interviews on his channel. He's interviewed a couple of people I follow, and he pops up regularly in my research as a source of information, regarding health, regarding certain things. I don't necessarily agree 100% with everything he says. On the times that I've been able to watch and consume his material, I'm going to start watching a little bit more, because I do want to kind of explore what else he gets into, aside from the health aspect, and because he has a huge following, a big channel, so he's got to be doing something right and shit. So check out his channel. That's where this clip came from. It should be noted that this clip was posted by someone else. They essentially just took the content from him, made a clip, and put it on their little shitty channel to try and monetize someone else's work. I don't agree with that, so I did not bother linking the original source. I'm going to go full screen with the video as far as what you see. They didn't add their own commentary. They just cut and pasted someone else's content. That is not, it's one thing to do a reaction video where even if your reaction is just staring at whatever the fucking is playing and keeping it in a small window and shit, or putting your face over it. But me, I don't do that. I pause the shit. I won't even play the whole thing half the time. And that's kind of what I'll be doing going forward. So let's go ahead and get into the shit.
All of this hit because
when did you stop teaching?
Really sick this year. I had, like last January, Jesus, it was just dismal. I wouldn't have wished that on my worst enemy. I had 3 weeks where I didn't sleep a wink. You try that. That's really entertaining.
It's a pretty long time to go without sleeping and shit. Sleep is also a very important part of the ketogenic diet, of health, of any other aspect of your life. Sleep is a big role. We need it. It's our recovery time. It's our downtime. It's our body's repair cycle. It's our fasting time in a lot of cases.
Entertaining. one long day of misery that's 3 weeks long.
What kind of an illness?
It looks like an autoimmune disorder.
Do you think this is because of stress?
No, I don't.
You don't think it's connected at all?
Well, yeah, I think it probably made it worse. But no, it's something that I've battled with for a long time. And it's something that really, both my wife and I have autoimmune illness. And my daughter got...
What?
Now, I do know that we tend to paint with a broad brush when we self-diagnose like this, but I don't dispute the fact that he had these symptoms or that an illness may not have been classified in the autoimmune category, but I can tell you from my own, and we're going to get into my own personal shit, that there are things in our diet, in our processed food environment, that are causing us allergic reactions, immune system responses, inflammation, which fires up your immune system, and leaky gut, and other issues, digestive issues. There's chemicals we have to deal with. There's things we expose ourselves to that cause problems.
What autoimmune illness?
Don't know exactly what it is. I don't know what it is.
Have you
in my
adjusted
daughter,
your
it
diet?
manifests. Yes, that's what's fixed it.
What fixed it?
Oh, all I eat is meat and greens.
Meat and greens, essentially keto. Green leafies, meat. It's pretty simple fucking diet if you think about it. I eat a little bit wider variety than that, and some people just do meat and do the carnivore thing. I'm not quite ready to take that step. I'll experiment with it. I'll try it for a month. I'm not going to take a shit on it without giving it a good solid trial. But a lot can be said by taking some shit out of our diet, that maybe isn't really even serving a purpose.
That's it. No juice, no vegetables, no carbohydrates, meat, greens. That's it.
That's pretty much greens being the leafy green shit, like salads with meats, and meats and salads, and meats and more meats and salads. Obviously, you're getting fat with your meats. I'd imagine that there's some kind of dressing involved. I don't know. They didn't get too in depth during this.
That fixed it.
That seems to have fixed it.
That fixes so many people.
Well, I can tell
don't know
you,
if you've listened to any of the podcasts I've done.
Yeah. Well, I've been following them because my daughter has a blog too called "Don't Eat That," and my daughter had a terrible autoimmune disorder. It was awful. I detailed that out in chapter 12. She had 38 affected joints, and she had her hip and her ankle replaced when she was 16.
Jesus.
So she walked around on 2 broken legs for a year in excruciating pain. She was on extremely high doses of opiates. And so she was addicted to opiates, which she just, once she had her surgery, she just went off them cold turkey and suffered through the withdrawal for 2 months.
There's another problem that we have in our modern fucking medical society is opioid addiction. I think we need to figure out better ways to manage our pain without super addictive pain medications, but these are things that are a little bit outside of the bounds of what I do. I myself, when I broke my leg, I tried to keep the opioids to a minimum. I would maximize my tolerance of pain. I would push past the point of, I should take another pill, into a realm of... And I found that I was able to go lengthy periods of time between pain medication. But that's a kind of little off topic.
Compared to what she had been through, that was nothing. What she went through, man, it was dreadful. And that was just the surface of it. That was only the beginning of her illness. She had all sorts of other things that were worse than that. And we figured she was probably going to die by the time she was 30, because my cousin's daughter had a similar autoimmune problem, and she died when she was 30. So it was bloody dreadful. But she figured out at one point that it was associated with diet, and then she went on a radically restrictive diet. And
what'd she do?
She was on antidepressants. She's not. She had to take Ritalin to stay awake. She could only stay awake about 6 hours a day, and she had to take high doses of Ritalin to stay awake.
What is this autoimmune disease?
Well, her diagnosis was rheumatoid arthritis.
And there's evidence in some of the studies I've read that rheumatoid arthritis does get helped, does get reduced by a ketogenic diet. I think there was a specific study. I'd have to dig to dig it up. But the point is when you keto is an anti-inflammatory diet. So is fasting is also an anti-inflammatory process. And inflammation can cause a whole lot of stress in the body, a whole lot of flare-up issues, problems. It causes havoc. And it doesn't take much to inflame the body. It's a normal, natural response. It's a healing process. It's how our body deals with a lot of issues, a lot of invaders, a lot of problems. And the immune system is generally triggered by inflammation in a lot of cases. It's part of the body trying to fix whatever's fucked up. And if what's fucked up is the food you're eating, then you are constantly in a state of inflammation. You're constantly having your immune system triggered to deal with different invaders or problems or toxins or things that don't belong in your blood that get in your blood. And in order to deal with it, your immune system gets fired up. And then sometimes it gets so bad that you're so chronically inflamed that your immune system's constantly firing up even when it doesn't fucking have to. And then it causes its own problems where your immune system's attacking your body. That is a big rabbit hole that you can fall into with diet. And my personal experience, as many of you know, I broke out in hives last year towards the end of my stint in trucking, and I attributed it to I was eating a bag of nuts that did have some sugar content, did have some vegetable oil content. And this is one of the reasons I've been so hard on vegetable oils, is because they took the nuts and put fucking vegetable oil on them. And I'm like, what the fuck do you do that for? To make it all stick together or something? Stop. And they did it. And it caused, I believe, because I removed that component. That was the one variable I saw that I could fuck with that maybe had to do with it. I overate the shit. I eliminated it and the hives went away. I also couldn't walk across the cat without fucking my eyes puffing up and becoming pink and having that scratchy, itchy eye shit going on. I can now, put my face almost in a cat's ass and not have a fucking problem. In the springtime, I usually get to where I can barely breathe. I'm all congested. I'm, a big pile of shit. Sometimes the scratchy, itchy eye thing would happen in the spring. I have not had that issue in a long time. Last spring, even though I had my cheat days and all of that shit here and there, I did not have a problem. I did not require one trip to get some kind of fucking anti-allergy medication to manage the symptoms. Didn't happen. My allergic responses have greatly reduced since going ketogenic, since fasting. It's an acute thing too, because if I know if I eat the standard American diet, if I eat that shitty food again, that those things will return. I may tolerate them a little bit better now. I don't know. I haven't fully tested that. But I know that if I chronically eat those fucked up foods, that eventually that shit's going to come back to haunt me. All them allergic issues. And it could even get worse. And I could get to the point where my immune system attacks my body. I don't think I came close to that, but I definitely have reduced my allergy reactions significantly to the point where I can, with confidence, tell you that it was my diet and fasting alone that accomplished that. Because I had endured it my entire fucking adult life. My entire life. I've had these allergic reactions. When I was a kid, I was allergic to cats the entire time. If I got a cat hair in the wrong spot, it was a bad fucking 3 days. It's gone. And it's really interesting to hear from other people, which is kind of why this jumped out at me, this video, that they're getting similar results. And I've seen it in the comments as well. So if you have an autoimmune problem or a severe amount of allergy problems, consider a keto adaptation and test it out. Now, I'm not advocating you expose yourself, especially if you're lethally allergic to something, but I am thinking that you'll notice changes, you know, especially in the milder allergies, the ones that don't put you in the hospital. I think you'll notice those go away. But let me know in the comments. I am very curious on this subject. You know, like I said, I don't have hard proof that this happens. I just know that the anecdotal evidence is there. I've received a number of comments to that effect, and my own personal experience corroborates it. I would like to see more done in terms of diets, autoimmune disease, allergies, autism, by the way, I think needs to be looked at. And a number of mental disorders, I believe, are strongly affected by diet. I used to not. I used to be like, well, some people are just fucking nuts. Some people just need to get their head fixed. And now that I know with my own mental health what's happened, that it's really interesting, the things that affect our mental health in the realm of nutrition. And it definitely needs more exploring for a wider range of people. And by the way, I don't think mental health clinics or psychiatrists or any of those motherfuckers are currently addressing the nutritional aspect of mental health. I don't think that it's being used to treat patients for mental health problems. Occasionally you get patients who discover it on their own and anecdotally show results that they attribute to the diet, but it's never been, I don't think it's ever been 100. Well, I think the Russians did it, but I don't think anybody translated that. That comes from that Science of Fasting video. But there is evidence, and I think we need to study it. I think we need to do some controlled studies of people with mental illnesses, a variety of them, and figure out just how much our diet impacts those illnesses instead of just throwing drugs at them. And drugs often causing more problems than they fix, and definitely causing a dependency on that drug for your entire life. Who's going to pay for that? It's not really financially in anyone's best interests, not even the food companies, I don't think. It's because most of their processed foods would have to go out the fucking window. But it's a matter of making sure that we know our shit. And even if we have to independently study that on our own, anecdotally, like we have with everything else that seems beneficial for us. Fasting, we've had to learn it on our own. We've had to learn keto on our own. You know, nobody's feeding us this shit in the mainstream or in the doctor and medical communities. There are some outliers to that rule, but for the most part, you can't walk into your local hospital and get a good diet plan on how to reverse these illnesses through nutrition alone. There's not a lot of resources available to the general public, and that's fucking bullshit and needs to change. We shouldn't have to bypass our own medical and dietitian and nutritional counselors that do this for a living to get these results. These results should have already fucking been here. They should have already been a part of our existence because of the amount of time we've had to get this shit right, and we've got it completely wrong. And we're doing the wrong things for the wrong reasons to treat our illnesses. And we need to evaluate them on a much grander scale in terms of nutrition and the things that we put into our bodies, you know, which drugs interact in our bodies a certain way. Well, guess what? Food can have drug-like effects. Plants can have drug-like effects. If you eat bad food, it can have detrimental effects. You know, you're taking something into your body and you're absorbing pretty much everything in there that is bad. If there's something bad in there, your body's going to have to deal with it. And it's going to deal with it with inflammation. It's going to deal with it with autoimmune response. It's going to deal with it. And if you overdo the amount of shit that you're putting in there for your body to have to deal with, things can go wrong. And that's looking at it kind of on a basic level. So if you reduce the bad shit coming in, you are going to increase your health span. Plain and simple. And you might even reverse things that have plagued you your entire life.
But she didn't have the blood markers for it, but she had all the other symptoms. Anyway, she figured out this restrictive diet. She only ate chicken and broccoli for about 2 months, and almost all her symptoms went away. And she's pretty much symptom-free now, and it's a complete miracle. And she convinced me to try this diet about 1.5 years ago. And so
I don't know about going to just chicken and broccoli. I don't think that's entirely necessary. I think she could have added a few other things in and still got the same results.
I lost 7 pounds a month for 7 months. That was the first thing, which was just bloody amazing. Yeah, it was unbelievable. It was I couldn't believe it, you know.
Was your diet rich in refined carbohydrates before that? And
rich
sugars?
enough.
Yeah.
Rich enough, you know.
Pastas and bread and things along those lines.
Yeah, pasta and bread don't belong in our diet. I'm firmly convinced of that. I like pasta too. I wish I could eat more pasta. But I've had to do some, some soul searching and realize that pasta is a bad food. It is not good for us. It's not. It's only been in our diet for maybe 10,000 years tops. And we haven't evolved to eat it. I don't believe pasta and wheat in general that's something that you feed livestock when you want to fatten them up. You don't feed the humans and expect them to be healthy. It's just not what we're designed to eat in my book. Now, I'm going to get a little bit of fucking thumbs down and hatred for saying that, but pasta and bread don't belong in the diet and shit.
Bread in particular, I eat a lot of bread. So the first thing that happened was I quit snoring. That happened immediately.
I also snored. I no longer snore to that level. I think I still occasionally make a little bit of noise when I'm sleeping, but I snored a lot back then. Back in the 255-pound days, sleep apnea could have definitely been a diagnosis had I bothered to get it checked. That's gone. No problems there. So if you have sleep apnea, guess what? Fasting, keto, gone. No more sleep apnea. Of course, no more obesity, no more diabetes, no more heart disease, no more problems. No more detrimental effects to your health. But hey, if snoring gets you started, by all means.
Took 1 week, and I was snoring quite badly. So that disappeared in a week. And that was amazing. I thought, oh, that's interesting. And then I had gastric reflux disorder. That went away. And then I lost 7 pounds the first month. I thought, oh, that's a lot. 7 pounds. I had psoriasis.
A lot of that's water weight in the first month.
That went away. I had floaters in my right eye, which is also an autoimmune problem. That went away. I have had gum disease for 30 years. That went away.
So he noticed all of these changes, and now this is anecdotal. There is a problem with this and taking it as gospel. It's not scientific to say because he changed his diet that all of these things were cured by that. I wouldn't go that far. It makes diet a high on the suspect list. If you're looking for some circumstantial fucking evidence to come to a conclusion, a lot of it is there. However, you can't confidently say that keto fixed all of these things. But you can test it. You can check it. Okay, you're having an issue, right? You go keto. The issue goes away. You stop going keto. The issue returns. Logical conclusion, keto fixes that issue. Plain and simple. I've done that. I did that with my allergies. If I stray from keto even just a little bit in terms of vegetable oils and junk foods and processed foods and crap, allergies return. Can't tell you exactly what in the standard American diet's causing those issues. I could do individual little elimination fucking self experiments. But overall, if you want to troubleshoot a problem And I learned this early on in my military career. I worked on planes. I had to troubleshoot. And part of troubleshooting is a process of elimination. You can take out different things and see what happens. You can do this with your diet. If you're having an issue you believe is related to diet, or even an issue in general that you didn't know was related to diet, but you might have heard something, you can eliminate things. You can change your diet. And if you don't like it, go back and see what happens. Just know all the ins and outs of the changes you make. Keto takes 6 weeks to take hold. So give it the 6 weeks and see what happens. See what happens with your issues. A lot of these things he's talking about, he didn't notice until a couple months down the line. So you got to give it a good, non-cheat day try. But you got to realize you can change your diet around and figure out what part of the diet isn't working for you and tailor it. Because we are all a little different. We've all got different damage. We've all had different autoimmune problems. We've all had different diabetes problems, levels of insulin resistance, levels of obesity, levels of everything. Levels of heart disease, blood pressure problems. We've been very hard on our bodies, and the damage has been different for all of us. And how we treat those damages with our diet needs to be individualized to you. And the way you do that is through a process of elimination. So you want to be a carb burner, right? And you go back to being a carb burner and you try it out. I've done it. And you regain shit tons of weight. Well, clearly, you can't go back to being a carb burner. Not if you want to keep the weight off. Some people go back to the carb burning and then they go back to eat less, move more, and they get back in that whole hamster wheel again. And the moment you stop, eat less, move more, you gain the weight. Or you plateau while you eat less, move more, because you tank your metabolism. One of those two things is going to happen. Or you got to your goal and you have to keep doing that to maintain your goal. So those are the unicorns that'll come up and say, eat less, move more, works just fine. Yeah, well, you're doing it all the time. You have to do it all the time. You have no fucking choice. If you stop doing it, you do not keep your results. Plain and simple. I don't have to do that. I don't have to go to the gym. I don't have to fucking do any of that. I just had to not eat carbs. Not eat sugar. Not eat processed foods. Stay away from the vegetable oils. It's not hard to do. There's a lot of foods I love that I get to eat on the regular. So I'm not going to play the rest of this video. By all means, go and check out this entire interview and preferably find the spot. Just try not to click through all the thieves that like to steal other people's shit and repost it like that, or find another reaction video to it, I guess. But check out Joe Rogan's. He's got multiple channels and he does a lot of good interviews, I find. So, and a lot of stuff on keto and fasting in his show. So bottom line, if you're experiencing an autoimmune disease or a problem in that realm, you should experiment. Try it out. If you're suffering from something like this, you got to go and do it. You got to try. What harm is there? Going keto for 6 to 8 months, would not destroy you in any way. It would be a good test. Give it a longer shot. Don't just fucking give it a week or two and be like, I feel like shit, the fucking electrolytes, man, pissed me off, fucking, fuck this shit, I want my fucking pasta and bread. Don't do that. Don't waste your time doing that. If that's all you're going to do, then don't bother. Give it 6 to 8 weeks. Give it 6 months even. Just 6 months. How long is that? That's not rough in the grand scheme of things. And if at the end of 6 months you're not completely satisfied, you can go back to eating all that shit. And maybe you'll have a greater appreciation for that shit. Or maybe you'll have tailored that shit a bit. Maybe you'll have learned you don't need as much of that shit. I don't know. There could be all kinds of positive things that come out of giving something a good 6-month try. And I think you'll find, as I have, that it will help you. It will eliminate hunger. It'll eliminate a lot of issues. And this is even without adding fasting in. Add fasting in and you get even further into the realm of health. So, I plan on being keto for the majority of my life. Maybe I'll step out here and there and test the waters. Maybe I'll go low carb instead of keto, which is where you can have up to 100 grams a day. I will probably experiment with that just to see what happens, but I'll probably revert back to keto because if the hunger returns, if the weight creeps up, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to go back to what I know works and stay there. Doesn't mean never test the water, never question yourself. There's going to be times I question myself. I'm going to give carnivore a try for 30 days. I doubt I'll get through that end of that 30 days and be like, yeah, I'm a carnivore now. I don't think that'll happen. I've seen others do it though, and they did that. And we're going to get into some of that in another video. Please remember, I'm not a fucking expert. I'm just a fucking asshole. And there's one asshole to another. Sometimes we just gotta figure shit out for ourselves and not live by everyone else's bullshit. So take this information and go and find more information and make your own calls. Make your own judgments. Make your own diet. Your own fasting schedule that works for you. Get the results at your own pace. Don't try and keep up with everybody. Don't feel like a failure if you drop out of a fast early. Don't kick yourself too hard on the cheat days. Pick yourself up, get you back on the horse, and keep riding as long as you can till you fall off again. And then get back on, and eventually you'll stay on the fucking horse. I've said that over and over again. I should make a fucking Hallmark card or something. Please like and subscribe for more shit. And I'll make all kinds of shit. Also, in the comments, let me know what you think about this kind of reaction style video where I react to some of the shit that I get in my inbox constantly. I'll be doing this for comments. I'll be doing this for videos. I'll be doing this for articles. As you've been seeing with the Bloomberg article, I reacted to that quite heavily. Sometimes I'll be triggered and I'll just want to turn on the camera and go nuts. These are all things I'm planning on doing with this daily show format, and I'm getting better and better at streamlining the process. And plus, I can even pre-film some of them and put them out. So I'll be able to give you guys shit tons of content, probably more content than you're able to consume in a week, but on the times when I don't produce content, and there will be gaps where I take time off, you'll have plenty to go back and watch, that's for sure, if you can't keep up. I do realize it's a huge time demand to ask a lot of people to watch a whole lot of videos. So please check out ScottTheTruckDriver.com. If what I had to say brought you any value, the link is in the description to the tip jar. Throw a few bucks in that tip jar and help keep this shit going. I put a lot of work into this. I'm doing the best I can to provide as much information and content and entertainment and any other shit that comes out of my fucking mouth right here for you guys to consume. And have a nice motherfucking day. And shit.